Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Hammond, and I am a student in the CTE program at Gull Lake High School. Um, CTE is Career Technical Education. Today, I'm making a video about virtual machines. A few things I'm going to be covering in this video is I'm going to be covering hypervisors, virtual machines, why we would use a virtual machine, and kind of how to set one up. So first, let's talk about a hypervisor. So a hypervisor, there are two types of hypervisors. There's type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is just like raw computing material. We have a processor, RAM, we have a hard drive, and we install our operating system on that, and we can access it from another computer. So it's a separate machine that we access, and an example of that would be something at like Google or Microsoft, where they use those computers to store stuff and they can access it from another computer. There's another type of hypervisor called the Type 2 hypervisor, and that's the one I'll be showcasing in this video today. I will be using Type 2. Type 2 basically consists of the host computer and the guest computer. The guest computer will be our virtual machine, and the host computer will be our, computer. So this is my computer here. I use it every single day of my life. Um, but what I can do is I can use my Type 2 hypervisor and I can create a virtual machine. Now, how we do that is we can look at some valuable information here about our system. So my processor has 4 cores. Um, 4 cores, has 16 gigabytes of memory. So basically what we want to do is the Type 2 hypervisor is creating basically, for lack of better terms, a computer inside of a computer. So we are going to be borrowing some of the hardware from our host system to use in our guest system. So for example, I like to use half. You can use half. You can kind of fine tune it for how you want to do it. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll be using 2 cores and I'll be using 8 gigabytes of memory. Um, Basically, we only borrow half as a rule of thumb because our host system still needs some memory, some processing power to use for itself. So we can't borrow all of it because we still need some of it. So this is my virtual machine right here. We're going to boot this up right now. Um, and while it's booting up, I want to talk about why you might want to use a virtual machine. So as I just described, we have the host computer and the guest computer. And, there's a lot of different computing tasks that we may need to carry out when we use a computer. We may need to use it for hacking purposes. Maybe we're trying to really dig deep into that operating system and change files, experiment with things, play around. So what we want to do sometimes when we're testing is we really don't want to screw up our main system, our system that we use every day, stuff that has all our important information on it. We don't want to screw that up. So we use a virtual machine, which this is completely replaceable. I mean, you can completely trash it, destroy it, and replace it because really it's just a computer inside of a computer. Um, you just boot up an ISO image. So for example, this is Linux Ubuntu Bionic Beaver. Um, we boot up the image and we can use this computer inside of a computer to to carry out our tests, what we want to do, maybe our hacking, maybe our playing around with the operating system. Um, so this right here is what it looks like. Right up here we have our hypervisor. This shows all our options that we can do. Right here we can, utilize our shutdown tools. We have full screen mode. We can do some different commands. This shows us how our hard drive is working, how our network is working, all kinds of stuff like that. So in here we have these applications. It's almost like Windows. It looks a little bit different. As you can see, the graphical user interface is just a little bit different. But we can still use it just like a normal operating system. Um, really the only difference is number one, it's on a hypervisor, and number two, it's just completely replaceable. It would be wise to make a backup so maybe you don't lose your progress, but at the same time, you can change stuff, do stuff, and it will not affect your host system. Um, it's a really cool technology. It's been around for a little while, but it's really great. It's a great tool to use, especially if you're using if you're in certain industries like hacking and stuff like that. So yeah, so then when we're done doing what we want to do, we can power off our virtual machine. Um, it's a great tool. A lot of industries use it. Um, so yeah, that's basically just the kind of the rundown on virtual machines. Um, if you guys have any questions, please contact me. Please do not hesitate to contact me on my ePortfolio. Um, yeah, that's really it. Thank you for watching.